Example number 6 here, we have these graphs. We have to write the equation of the given graph. Find the equation for the graph below. So all of these are sinusoidal waves. Let's look at the first one, part A. The first one, what I notice is the period is given from 0 to 1. So I have the time period is equal to 1. I know the time period is 2 pi by omega, which is 1. So omega would be equal to 2 pi. That is my first observation. The second, the highest peak of the graph is going from 0 to 3. So the amplitude is equal to 3. Okay. So I can say that A is equal to 3. Now, is it cos function or sine function? I wonder that using the key points. This is my first key point, second key point, third key point, fourth and fifth. At 0, the graph's value is the amplitude value, 3. At the first key point, it is 0. That means this is a cos function because for sine function, the first key point is 0, right? At 0, sine function is 0. So this is a cos function. So I can write the equation y is equal to a cos omega x. So that would be a is 3, cos omega is 2 pi. So a cos 2 pi x. That would be the equation of this graph. Let's look at part B. Period is given from 0 to 4. That means, and the amplitude, one full length of your peak of the sine curve is up to 2. So A is given to be 2, the absolute value of A at least, and time period is given to be 4. So 2 pi by omega is equal to 4. That means omega is 2 pi by 4, which will be pi by 2. Is this a sine function or cosine function? Let's look at the key points. The 5 key points are 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Sine curve is 0 at 0. So this looks like a sine curve. But sine curve is 1 is the highest value. But in this case, it is the lowest value. That means the graph is reflected across x-axis, sorry. So that means the graph has to have a negative sign. So the equation of this curve where y is equal to negative 2 sine of omega x is, omega is pi by 2 x. So that would be the equation of this curve. Let's see another. This is the graph given at C. The one full cycle is from here to here. This number is at 8. This is 0. So, and the highest peak is at 3. So, absolute value of A is 3 and T, which is 2 pi by omega, is given to be 8. That means omega would be 2 pi by 8, which will be pi by 4. So, key points. The key points are at 0, 2, 4, 6 and 8. 5 key points. The first key point, its value is not 0. So, it has to be cos function. But it is not the highest value, it is the lowest value. That means it's reflected in x-axis. The function is negative. A is 3. Cos of omega is pi by 4 x. So this is the equation of your curve. Let's look at this last part. One whole period, I think, starts from here to pi. This is one whole time period. T is given to be pi. T is 2 pi by omega, which is given to be pi. That means omega is equal to 2. First observation. The highest amplitude, the highest length of the peaks is 3. So absolute value of A is 3. Now the key points. The key points are at 0, pi by 4, pi by 2, 3 pi by 4 and 5. 5 key points. At 0, the first key point, it is 0. So that looks like a sine curve, the first observation. Second, at the second key point, usually sine curve is maximum, but it is at the lowest value. That means it is reflected. So equation is negative 3 sine omega x, omega is 2. So this is the equation of this last curve.